Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. What we have here today is a lowdown on the top 10 Terminator models that need to have the limelight shine on them in a brighter way. The Terminator film series began with the massively successful first Terminator movie in 1984, continued with its super hit sequel, 1991's Judgment Day, but began to witness a dip in popularity with the subsequent additions to the franchise, namely 2003's Rise of the Machines, 2009's Salvation, 2015's Genisys, and 2019's Dark Fate. And fans of the franchise would know that Arnold Schwarzenegger needs no introduction. He played the titular Terminator, a cyborg created by Skynet, an artificially intelligent defense network that becomes self-aware in the course of time and wants to wipe out humanity in a nuclear holocaust. In this video, we'll introduce you to some of the lesser-known but supremely intriguing Terminators from the franchise. So let's begin, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. T-888. The T-888 Terminators are an upgraded version of the T-800, the model which Schwarzenegger popularized in the 1984 film. The 888s are part of the Infiltrator series of robots, mass-produced by Skynet and featured in the 2008 TV show The Sarah Connor Chronicles. In the series, Skynet sends a bunch of these T-888s to the past to kill the Connors and ensure that the Terminators are created in the future. Just like all Infiltrator Terminators, the 888s also have living tissue over hyperalloy endoskeletons, and given their ability to adjust size, they can take the form of any human, muscular or petite, by slipping into a range of Skynet's synthetically grown skin sheaths. In comparison to the T-800s, the 888s are far more durable, as the flesh has regenerative abilities that can be retained for decades, typically without any signs of decay. The T-888s are also a lot more anatomically sound, and are programmed to engage in sexual activities if required as part of their infiltration mission. The T-888s are also stronger and faster than the T-800, with additional armor plates on their arms and backs. They're also equipped with retractable thigh blades that were used to behead humans. These Terminators were programmed with the knowledge of human psychology and learned to improvise based on their interactions with humans. They came with phosphorus-laced CPUs that would burst into flames upon exposure to oxygen, and hence could not be reprogrammed by the Resistance members. Another important trait of the 888s is that even if the CPU got separated from the torso, it had wireless control over the body. Just like their predecessors, the T-888s were immune to conventional firearms and could only be deterred by exotic weaponry. But their biggest weakness was thermite, which can disintegrate the hyperalloy within minutes, effectively destroying these baddies.
An incredible new technology that will change your world today.
T-70. Want to know about the first Terminator with a humanoid form? Meet the T-70s, or the Cyberdyne Series 70 Autonomous Infantry Unit. These Terminator models have some striking similarities with the T-800, and there could be an explanation for that. The T-70 may have been reverse-engineered from the destroyed remains of the first T-800. The T-70 first appeared at theme parks, in the adventure ride T2 3D Battle Across Time, which is set in a timeline after the second Terminator movie Judgment Day. The T-70's history dates back when Cyberdyne Systems, the corporation that created Skynet, developed a bunch of these humanoid Terminators as foot soldiers to impress investors and attract more buyers with military interest, so that Cyberdyne can advance their robotic technology with their investors' money. Cyberdyne advertised the T-70 as the Terminators that will replace human troops in all combat situations. By 2015, Skynet had created a bulk of T-70 Terminators in two colors, Battleship Gray and Apache Green, and deployed them to take down humans. This primitive Terminator model towered at a height of 8 feet, and was equipped with a Gatling gun with motion tracking laser designator, firing off 600 rounds per minute. In the Terminator Salvation movie's prequel novel Cold War, the characters Molly Kukisha, the leader of the Resistance Squad in Alaska, and Gare Svensson encountered these T-70s while freeing Resistance Group members from an interrogation facility of Skynet in 2015. In the game The Terminator RPG, Skynet 2.0 upgraded the T-70s with body plate armor, made of a super-resistant hyperalloy, and by updating its battle programming, turning the T-70s into T-000s. Hunter-Killers, HKs. In addition to the cyborgs, Cyberdyne Systems also created multiple factions of non-humanoid hunter-killer robots, called the HKs, devoid of human-like skeleton. These Terminators were created to be brutal war machines. As the name suggests, the Hunter-Killers were developed to hunt down Resistance members and eliminate them on sight. The HK Ariel was the first ever Hunter-Killer that appeared on screen in the Terminator series of films. These are large airborne robots equipped with lasers, missiles, and plasma cannons, making them a lethal force in aerial battle. The HK Aerial comes coated with the same hyper-alloy that Terminator models had. The HK Bomber is a more powerful version of the HK Aerial, with additional walking-style robot, and comes equipped with double chain guns, double plasma cannons, and missiles that launch pools of plasma. It towers at 20 meters in height, and deadly weapons form each of its arms. The mini hunter killers are an annoying bunch. They hover over their enemies and target them with a single underslung plasma cannon. They're typically launched by the HK Aerials and are used to scout the battlefield and transmit information to Skynet. Next comes the Silverfish Hunter Killer, which never made it to the movies but appeared in books and games. It's a segmented attack drone, designed after the Silverfish, measuring 6 meters in length. It would move closer to the ground and plow into the enemy and explode. There are several other hunter killers such as the insect-like Flincer and the 3-story tall Goliath, and the multiple-legged Spiderbot that appeared in the game Future Shock. T-1. As the name suggests, the T-1, or T-1 Ground Assault Vehicle, was the first series of Terminators to ever be created by Cyberdyne Systems. These are also a kind of non-humanoid hunter-killers that are fully autonomous machines, and appeared as minor antagonists in the War of the Machines and Salvation movies. They were deployed by Skynet to clear the battlefields of approaching resistance armies with their destructive weaponry. The T-1s are equipped with motion, heat, and sound sensors, and a powerful radar to track targets easily. These battle machines also possess guns that blast off 3,000 rounds of 50 caliber ammunition every minute. The T-1s are capable of rotating 360 degrees, and the guns are controlled by its onboard radar. Being a tank, the T-1's outer structure is quite durable, but its head and neck areas are exposed, making them vulnerable to attack. Interestingly, the T-1s move in a crouched posture, but they have the ability to rise up and tower at a height of 8 feet if required during combat. As ground assault vehicles, the T-1s can move over any kind of terrain, as the wheels are capable of rolling over rubble. Even though their speed is slow, as they move completely on wheels just like battle tanks do, the T-1s more than make up for it with their fierce firepower. In the film Rise of the Machines, 24 T-1s were reprogrammed by the Terminatrix and deployed to kill every human in sight on Judgment Day. The T-850 sent to protect John Connor destroyed one of the T-1s and used its guns to blast off several others. It's believed that in the future, the T-1s were discontinued by Skynet for becoming obsolete. In the film Terminator Salvation, sometime in 2018, Skynet was using an upgraded version of the T-1s, which now have larger, more armored bodies and sensors that resemble eyes. The T-1s were primarily used to protect Skynet's important facilities and guard captives. John Connor fought T-1s in this movie too, and the tank Terminators met with a similar fate to their previous counterparts. Harvesters. Sometime before 2016, Skynet created the Harvester Terminators, which too are a kind of hunter-killers that appeared during the Salvation timeline. These are gigantic bipedal machines, whose main purpose was to collect humans and send them back to the lab as test subjects for stem cell research. After capturing humans, the Harvesters would typically call for a transport hunter-killer, would drop the test subjects into a large container, and typically return to their home base in standby mode. In the movie Terminator Salvation, a Harvester captures several members of a resistance group at a gas station. The characters Marcus Wright and Kyle Reese attempt to fight the Harvesters by blasting it off with an exploding tank lorry, but the Harvester remained unharmed and released 2 Moto Terminators at Marcus and Kyle. The Harvester finally managed to capture them and put them in the transport hunter-killer, and went into standby mode by crouching over the transport and blending in with the ship. The Harvesters are lethal opponents in the battlefield, as they're equipped with huge electrically charged plasma cannons on their back, which completely obliterate targets. The Harvester is covered with really thick armor on its shoulders and torso, and can tolerate concentrated heat attacks. Interestingly, it doesn't have a head, unlike its semi-humanoid counterparts, which means it has one less weak spot. In addition to its large arms, the Harvester also has a pair of smaller, grappling arms originating from its torso, which it uses for grabbing humans from the battlefield. Because of its huge size, the Harvester can store 2 Moto Terminators on its thighs. When the Harvester finds it difficult to chase humans with breakneck speed because of its size, it releases smaller Moto Terminators for the pursuit.
You're dead.
Calculations confirmed Serena
Coleman's face is the easiest for you.
Hybrid. The Hybrid Terminators, also called TH or Theta, are one of the deadliest antagonists of the franchise that appeared in the Salvation movie. Hybrid Terminators are created by transforming a human into a cybernetic organism. John Connor's wife Kate described this human Terminator hybrid in these words: "It's real flesh and blood, though it seems to heal itself quickly. The heart is human and very powerful. The brain too, but with a chip interface. It has a hybrid nervous system, 1 human cortex, 1 machine. This is unlike anything we've ever seen before." Creating hybrids was the main focus of Project Project Angel, which was started by Cyberdyne Systems and then carried forward by Skynet. Death row convict Marcus Wright volunteered as a test subject for the project, and he was reborn as a hybrid Terminator. While Marcus retained his organs, his skeleton was replaced with a hyperalloy frame, making his anatomy insanely durable and turning him into a hybrid that could survive even after death. As Marcus had a neural interface connected to Skynet, the rogue artificial intelligence system controlled Marcus into tracking down John Connor and bringing him back to the Skynet base, so that Connor could be turned into a hybrid and then forced to stop the resistance forces from within. But Marcus' human conscience overpowered Skynet's influence, and he finally sided with the resistance members. The hybrids have immense pain tolerance and don't feel much till they're seriously injured. They have enhanced regenerative abilities because of their genetically engineered living tissue. When a hybrid's heart stops beating, it can go into hibernation, but as long as the brain is intact, a hybrid cannot really die. Neither can it age or decay. However, a hybrid has some human frailties such as psychological trauma, and can be destroyed by causing overwhelming damage to the endoskeleton. T-1001. Meet Catherine Weaver from the Sarah Connor Chronicles show. She's the CEO of the tech company Zera Corp. But is she really human? The answer is no. Long before the T-1001 Terminators arrived from the future, Zera Corp was founded by Catherine Weaver and her husband Lachlan, both of whom died around 2005. While Lachlan's death in a plane crash made headlines, Catherine's death was more off-screen. Meanwhile, a shape-shifting T-1001, played by Shirley Manson, was sent to the past on an infiltration mission, and it assumed the identity of Catherine and took over as the head of Zera Corp to actually fight the birth of Skynet, in order to secure a different outcome in the future war against machines. She began working towards building another artificial intelligence that came to be known as John Henry. However, that doesn't mean Catherine wasn't an evil Terminator. She eavesdropped on her colleagues by blending in with the bathroom walls, and then beheaded the colleague who called her a bitch using just her fingers. She also secretly kept a portion of her body disguised as an eel in her office fish tank, which means the T-1001 was capable of detaching parts of her mimetic polyalloy body. She's made of the same liquid metal as the T-1000 from the Judgment Day movie, and can morph into anyone and everyone, and also transform into objects. The T-1001 can mimic the voices of the people she impersonates, but struggles with their human expressions and emotions. The Weaver's daughter Savannah, who was raised by the Terminator Catherine, was unaware that her mother is now a machine, and struggled to connect with her. The T-1001 was also capable of altering its size, as it did to create a metal sheath in order to shield the Connors when a drone attacked her office. She's quite a deadly character, right? T-500. The T-500s that appeared in the video game Terminator Dawn of Fate were humanoid hunter-killers that Skynet deployed in the year 2027 as its preferred soldiers against the Resistance. Skynet created these upgraded combat units to replace the T-400, but sometime in the future, even the T-500s turned obsolete, so Skynet stopped their production and replaced them with the next batch, T-600. The T-500s were the last kind of humanoid hunter-killers sent into battle by Skynet before it moved to endoskeleton frames for its machines. The T-500s have a battle-ready armored frame that make them extremely durable. They're programmed with combat techniques and equipped with powerful weapons, which are further synced with their artificial intelligence system to handle bigger threats. The T-500s bear resemblance to the T-70 machines, which we talked about earlier in the video. Some of them also have a living tissue covering the mainframe. Interestingly, the chest plates of the T-800 Terminators in the Dark Fate and Genisys timelines look similar to the T-500. T-950. Next up, we have the T-950, which appeared in the 2003 comics Terminator 3 Fragmented. The T-950 is sort of a bridge between the T-900 and the TX, in the sense that it's way more advanced than the T-900, with hyper-alloy armored endoskeleton and reconfigurable arms, and an array of weapons like the TX. A T-950 is even able to defragment its hard drive, and appears to exhibit a tinge of human emotion. We say this because on one occasion, a T-950 exclaims, "Where the hell am I?" showing frustration, instead of simply asking, "Where am I?" And on another, it cracks a joke saying, "There you go," instead of "There you go," to a SWAT soldier. A T-950's hyper-alloy endoskeleton is covered with living tissue, making it extremely durable against close-range attacks and heavy damage, such as fire from an energy gun or being run over by a train. The T-950s come with at least 2 sets of weapons in its arm. The most crucial trait of the T-950 is that it can bend its arm backwards to shoot at chasing enemies, and to protect the arms when they're reconfigured into weapons, they're covered in a special mimetic polyalloy, something which later makes it to the TX as well. However, the polyalloy only covers its arms to help it switch between weapon modes, while the rest of its body is sheathed in living tissue. Thus, a T-950 is unable to alter its facial or physical appearance. Similar to the T-850, the T-950 features a heads-up display and can also scan heat signature. It's also extremely resilient against EMP weapons, as one T-950 hardly suffered any injuries after an EMP went off in its proximity. However, a T-950 starts glitching and has altered mission parameters if it suffers serious damage to the head. Moto Terminator. As the name suggests, the Moto Terminators are high-speed pursuit machines created in the design of motorcycles that appeared in the Terminator Salvation timeline. Skynet had them in circulation during the War Against the Machines era, particularly between 2016 and 2018. The Harvesters housed these Moto Terminators in their upper legs and released them to hunt down fleeing humans from their compromised resistance shelters. The Moto Terminators were unmanned and combat programmed, and their sole purpose was to patrol the highways and deserts, looking for any sign of humans and obliterating them. Skynet also created a special ice resistance version of these beasts, known as the Snowminator, to patrol the Alaskan wilderness. The Moto Terminators come with plasma emitters and optic sensors on the sides, which can sense debris and obstacles on their path in slow motion, thus giving them incredible speed and maneuvering skills. The Moto Terminator could possibly be the swiftest land-based Terminator, recording a top speed of 200 miles per hour. In the movie Terminator Salvation, the characters Kyle Reese and Marcus Wright faced off against these Moto Terminators when the Harvester released two of them from its thigh. They were able to destroy one by shooting at it, and drag the other one with a ball hook. Later, John Connor trapped a Moto Terminator patrolling the streets by distracting it with a radio. He was able to hack into its system by inserting a device into the USB port, and then he rode the reprogrammed Terminator like a usual motorcycle, to go and save Kyle from Skynet Central. Connor also procured the Moto Terminator's electronic eye to bypass security layers and hack into Skynet. Marvelous verdict. Needless to say that the Terminators are the ultimate war machines, and revolutionized the sci-fi genre with their whole Judgment Day storyline. All thanks to Skynet. So which of these baddies turned out to be your favorite? Is it the hunter-killers or the hybrid? Don't forget to tell us in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, folks. If you liked our video, please give us a shout out and watch this space for more marvelous content. We will be back. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.